Yeah, I would say the most difficult things that have emerged during the pandemic has definitely been increased vulnerability and desperation that we have observed in the red light districts. So, in terms of vulnerability, unfortunately, there have been a number of violent incidents which have happened to the women, ranging from robbery to being beaten up and being electrocuted. So there's definitely been a bit of a spike we've noticed in terms of women becoming victim to violent abuse. The other thing that we've seen also is that there's a lot of fear in our outreaches when we go out to talk with the women. They are very fearful that they too will contract the virus, obviously due to the nature of their work. And another thing that comes out of that really has been a lot more desperation, which is really difficult for us to witness in the women. Many of them are single mums, and so in the situation of needing to make ends meet and put food on the table, the women have become more desperate and willing to engage in acts that perhaps they wouldn't normally do. So that's been quite heartbreaking for us to notice. But I think even through the difficulties, even through how heartbreaking it has been for us to walk alongside the women during the pandemic, there are definitely things that God has been using and turning around for good. We've actually seen a change. There's been a shift in the hearts of the women where they've just become so open. The hearts are open, they're searching and seeking out other things that they can be doing with their lives, as God has really used this pandemic to expose the truth that the commercial sex industry doesn't offer as much security that many of them thought that they could get from this type of work. And the other thing that we've seen is as well as open hearts, is many open doors. So during the past 9 months or so, doors have flown open that we've never been able to get access to. So certain brothels and strip clubs and places across Hong Kong that never allowed us in are now welcoming us to come in and speak with the women and be with the women. So that's certainly something to celebrate. Some other things I would say, despite the difficulties of COVID-19, are that we have seen two of the women in our 12 months aftercare program graduate just earlier last month, and so they've gone home to reunite with their kids. One of them has a 6-year-old daughter, and she's just so over the moon that she gets to spend Christmas with her this year. So that's been really exciting. God hasn't stopped moving, He hasn't stopped working because of COVID-19. These women have still persevered through the difficulties, and they successfully graduated the program. Some other things are also here at our drop-in centre. As I mentioned earlier, people's hearts are open, doors are open for us, and that's really helped to get women through our doors here at Promised House too. So we've started 2 Alpha courses recently in the past couple of weeks. More women have been coming out of the brothels to join our programs and learn skills, learn sewing, learn candle making. So it's just such a there's this goodness that God is bringing out of the difficult circumstances, and we really celebrate those. So Grace had asked me when she arrived this morning to think of a message to convey, to communicate to the brave girls in Hong Kong. And during our prayer and worship time, I was asking God, what would you like me to tell to the girls? And He reminded me of a verse in Psalm 17, where it talks about being the apple of God's eye. And I believe that this word is for all of you brave girls, that you are the apple of God's eye. And it may just sound like something that is nice to hear, but I believe it really is for you, that you can hold claim to that truth, to be able to say to yourself first, I am the apple of His eye, I am the center of His attention. And also in times where we're walking alongside each other, that it's something that we can remind each other of as well. So here at S&D, we're guided by the principles of truth, courage, and perseverance. So what I mean by truth is really being able to speak truth to the people that God has put into our lives to care for. And that could be perhaps they're thinking something negative about themselves, and we know that that's not what God says about them, so we can speak truth in those circumstances to each other. And also maybe conversely, when we observe situations where somebody might not realize the truth, and in certain times that we need to speak truth even when it feels awkward or it feels difficult, but God encourages us to always be in His truth and reflectors of His truth. So hand in hand with that truth, we need courage to be able to speak truth in all circumstances to each other, and also perseverance in our relationships, in relationships with your friends and your families and loved ones. It takes perseverance